Boogeyman Ben. Horror Zone.
Hey everyone, it's Boogeyman Ben. Hope everyone's doing well and everyone's having a great day. Yes, I know it's been a long time since I've done a video. In fact, it's been exactly 2 weeks since I've done a video. Just really been busy. Work has really been, taking a lot of my time. It's excellent. I love my job. But just with all the work that's been going on and the late nights and very busy days, I just haven't had the energy to do videos, even though I've been wanting to do some for quite a while. Tonight's video is going to be about a movie. I'm going to call them dark comedies. With a lot of movies that are celebrating their 30th anniversaries, which is shocking to me, but this year we're going to have the 30th anniversary of Ghostbusters, which just passed a couple weeks ago, and then also the 30th anniversary of Gremlins. And I started thinking about kind of dark comedies that I really like. And there's one film that I like that I remember when it came out in the winter of 1991. I went on a date with Cindy Kennard. Hey Cindy, if you're watching. She and I went and saw this movie in the theater. It was her and I and about 4 other people, and it had a cast of characters, cast of actors that I've always admired and still do. But it was a movie that was really shunned by critics and filmgoers. It's never gotten, I think, the respect that it deserves, because I think it's still a hilarious movie. Very twisted, very different. I think it was just, the time it came out, it was not what people expected. The movie I'm talking about is Nothing But Trouble. This is a film that I've always loved. I have it on DVD. I don't believe it's ever been released on Blu-ray. But it stars my childhood heroes, Chevy Chase, John Candy, the late great John Candy. You also have Dan Aykroyd, who not only stars in the film, but also wrote and directed the film. So I'm going to talk about this film and give you my insights into it, and I hope everyone looks forward to this. Please stay tuned. So Nothing But Trouble stars Chevy Chase as Christopher Thorne. You also have Dan Aykroyd, who plays Judge Alvin J.P. Vulcanheiser, as well as the character of Bobo. You have the late great John Candy as the character of Dennis, as well as Eldona. You have Demi Moore as Diana Lightston. You have Taylor Negron as Fausto, and Bertilla Damas as Ronaldo. You also have cameos by Raymond J. Barry as Marg, Brian Doyle Murray as Brian, and Daniel Baldwin as Dealer Number 1, Artie. The movie was written by Peter Aykroyd, and the screenplay was done by Dan Aykroyd, who also directed the film. Another fact about this film is that it's Tupac Shakur's film debut. He briefly appears as one of the members of former hip-hop group Digital Underground. A businessman finds he and his friends the prisoners of a sadistic judge and his equally odd family in the backwoods of a bizarre mansion. Now, I've always loved Nothing But Trouble. As a kid, Chevy Chase was my hero, as was John Candy. I liked Dan Aykroyd and was a fan of him in movies like Ghostbusters and The Great Outdoors and Dr. Detroit and Trading Places, but John Candy and Chevy Chase were my heroes. They were just two of the funniest men growing up, alongside with Eddie Murphy. They were like the 3 people I looked up to in terms of comedy. Was Eddie Murphy, Chevy Chase, and John Candy. So when I heard that they were going to make a movie with John Candy, Chevy Chase, and Dan Aykroyd, I said, this is fucking fantastic. I mean, I was so excited to see this movie. And I remember, back then, of course, there was no internet. This was 1990, 1991. I was still in high school, and I just remember seeing pictures of the film. Demi Moore, I've never really been a huge fan of Demi Moore. She didn't bother me in the film, but I didn't love her. I didn't hate her as an actress. It was just kind of indifferent to her. But I was so excited to see this movie, and my friend Cindy, who we were kind of going out at the time, and she's an awesome person, and we went and saw this film on one of our first dates. And we cracked up. I remember going to this movie and laughing our asses off. And even back then, I was still kind of cognizant of film reviewers and things like that. I used to read the Pink Sheet, which was in the San Francisco Chronicle, and I remember they used to have like this little guy, and he was like, he would either be sitting up or asleep or gone or clapping his hands if he loved a film. And then for this movie, he was gone. I mean, critics shit on this movie, and audiences didn't really embrace it as well. I think it was just too odd because it wasn't a straightforward comedy. It had horrific elements. So when the characters of Chris, Diane, Fausto, and Ronaldo are pulled over by Dennis, the cop, played by John Candy, and taken to the courthouse or the shire, the judge, Vulcanizer, who is played by Dan Aykroyd. There's where the house is and where they're led to is very got horror-esque elements, almost Texas Chainsaw kind of elements to it. But then all of a sudden, this very broad comedy will happen. So like this very broad comedy will ensue. So it's like you have a mix of broad comedy, and then what happens if people break the law in Valkenvania, which is the name of the town, which was originally going to be the name of the film. But the name of the town that the judge oversees is Valkenvania. And he doesn't like any type of bankers, and he keeps calling Chris a banker, even though he's a financial publisher. He keeps calling him a banker, and that a banker ruined his family and things like that. But anybody that breaks the law in Valkenvania and is found to be like a really bad person, or the judge sort of gives them, passes a severe judgment on them because of who they are. They're sent to the bone stripper, which actually like just tears them apart and spits their bones out at the other side of it. I mean, it's really got some really horrific elements to this, as well as having a comedy. And for me, it always worked for me. If you like movies like Beetlejuice and The Burbs and just movies that are very kind of, they're very dark humor, I think this works terrifically. And Chevy Chase, and this is one of, I think, the funniest performance, the last funny performance he really gave. I mean, after this, he did the Chevy Chase show, and really, I don't think ever really retained his glory from the 80s. He kind of fell off and started doing movies like Man of the House and Snow Day, and I just never was really into those films. But I think this is one of his last truly great performances. He's hilarious in this film and still has that Chevy Chase humor, that very snappy, sarcastic shtick that I think is just done beautifully. And hats off to John Candy, who I still miss even 20 years after he passed away. I loved him to death. He was just awesome, and this is Dennis, but he also plays the judge's granddaughter, Aldona, and it's a part where John Candy doesn't speak in the role as a woman, but he plays her very creepy, and she's very creepy in the film. He's very creepy as the woman in the film, and you buy that it's a woman. He does a very good job, even though it looks like John Candy in drag. I thought that Demi Moore did a fine job in the film. There's actually some funny parts that she has in it. I really love Taylor Negron, and I always have liked him, and he does a great job as Fausto. He really makes me laugh in this film. Him and his sister Ronaldo are hilarious. And I love the set pieces in it. I mean, the courthouse is very creepy. The rooms are just filled with all kinds of crap. I mean, it's like an episode of Hoarders, just really bad. I mean, there's some stuff in it that's really creepy, and there's some really shocking parts to it as well. The fact that Digital Underground appears in this film, I was a huge fan of them as a kid. They're from the Bay Area, and I was a huge fan of Tupac Shakur growing up, and the fact that he's in this as well is, I mean, he doesn't really talk, and he's a part of the group, but it's kind of cool to see him in this. And it's just a film that's just a lot of fun, and I really think it gets shit on unfairly. If you haven't checked out Nothing But Trouble and you love all these actors, I really think it's worth giving it a chance. It's not like going to win any Oscars. It's not trying to be, some of these highbrow comedies like Tenenbaums and stuff like that people seem to think are funny, and I never thought they were funny. They're just sad movies that are called comedies for some reason. I like slapstick humor, and I like the zany kind of humor that you know, I grew up with, and you know, this is just a really fun film. If you haven't given it a chance, I highly recommend Nothing But Trouble. It's just a fun film, and I might even watch it tonight because I haven't watched it in a long time. But yes, excellent film, highly underrated. And if you have seen the film, please share your thoughts with me. I'm always interested to know what people think of some of the movies I talk about. And I might be doing the next couple of videos. I might be sticking with these horror comedies or these dark comedies. Movies like The Burbs, which is one I really want to talk about. I've talked about it before, saying it's one of my favorites, but I've never really talked about The Burbs or Ghostbusters or Gremlins. You know, they're films that I've said that I enjoy, but I've never really given my 2 cents on the films, and that's probably going to be the next group of videos that I do, because I don't really have any new collectibles right now, and that's one of the reasons I haven't done a lot of videos in the last couple of weeks. I just really haven't had a lot to talk about. But, you know, I started thinking about, you know, these comedies that, you know, they're coming up on 30 years and 25 years, and they're ones that I grew up on. And not only is it making me feel old, it's making me feel nostalgic for, you know, how much I enjoyed them growing up. So I think I might share my thoughts on some of these wonderful films. And again, I invite everybody to share their thoughts with me, and I hope everyone's doing well. And I promise to not be on hiatus for as long, so hopefully I'll have a new video coming up in the next couple of days, and I hope everyone has a great evening. Thanks so much for watching this video, and take it easy. Peace.